Hi everyone, been a while, so I thought I would introduce you to what I've been working on primarily over the last couple months. So a couple years back I released a game called Runecairn, which is a Norse fantasy Souls-like TTRPG inspired by Dark Souls and with a influence of Norse mythology. So the core rules included about 10 monsters that were derived from a combination of Dark Souls monsters and creatures from Norse mythology. So since I published that, I've had people asking how to make new monsters or where they can get more monsters for Runecairn or for other Norse mythology games. Happy to say that I'm now crowdfunding a book of monsters for Runecairn called the Runecairn Bestiary. So this includes 100 new monsters that were inspired by Norse mythology, as well as including rules for creating new monsters for Runecairn and converting monsters from other OSR, NSR type systems like Cairn and Into the Odd. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a preview of the book at the moment. It's about 95% complete. The writing is all done. I'm just waiting on additional pieces of art to be done for it. It's crowdfunding on itch right now, so that means if you back it, you get an early copy of the PDF as it's being developed, but you'll also get to secure yourself a copy of the hardcover when the book goes to print after itch funding, so that'll be probably early June. All right, with that out of the way, I thought I'd show you the book. So starting off with the amazing cover. So the logo was done by Andriy Lukin, who also did my logo for We Deal in Lead. And the cover illustration here was done by Goran Gligovíc, who also did the cover illustration for We Deal in Lead. So I'm just going to flip through the book, give you an idea of what it looks like, what kind of monsters are inside, and what you can expect when you back the book. So this is an amazing piece done by Brandon Yu. So this is also on the back cover of the book. And you can see here all of the different monsters that are included. So I give a bit of write-up on what to expect, like how to read the stat blocks for the Runecairn monsters. Something that that I didn't really go through in much detail in the core Runecairn books. I also elaborate on some of the stuff that I've added in the Bestiary, like new condition types, different monsters, and that sort of thing. So I finally give explanation on what does resistant mean, what does weak mean, what does immune mean. So it gives a bit more concrete mechanics to the stat blocks. Some new status effects like dismembered or toxic, and then finally the different monster types. So each of the monsters in the book has this icon, has an icon next to it, so that it'll tell you what type of monster it is. And when you hover over it in the actual list of monsters, it'll tell you what kind of a monster it is. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just kind of touch on the ones that I find most interesting. So the majority of the art here is from Kim Diaz Holm, who did the art, a lot of the art in We Deal in Lead as well. And he's an amazing artist who releases all of his stuff, or the majority of his art, as Creative Commons. So you can use it in your own projects. And all of this art, all of his art that I've used is licensed for Creative Commons. So you can see here, if I hover over that, giant ant, it says it's a beast. Bandit is humanoid, that sort of thing. So you can tell what kind of monster it is. So a lot of these are drawn from Norse mythology, like the Brook Dweller, which is also known as a Nokken in Scandinavian mythology. So for the ones that I've translated or converted from Scandinavian mythology, I've included the original name and then my own name, like a kind of an anglicized name for them. There are 4 protector spirits in specifically Icelandic mythology. So I've included all 4 of those in the Bestiary. These are unique legendary creatures, which legendary is its own creature type. I've also got a mix of art from Felipe Faria, who's also working on the additional pieces for me. So this is one of his here, the saber-toothed cat. So I've also gone through and differentiated monster types. So a colossus is a specific type of monster. Because I don't really have giants in Runecairn, because a giant has a very specific connotation in Norse mythology, and I already have Jotunn. I use Jotunn in the way that it's depicted in the Icelandic sagas and in kind of Viking Age Icelandic stories. So Colossus is something that's been constructed by the gods. That's how I differentiate them from Jotunn. So you've got some. So the beasts that I've got listed are ones that would have been found or possibly found Scandinavia. So like the cormorant, for instance. So Death Seer, this is my version of a lich. So basically a staggeringly powerful seer that refuses to die. Just they continue on in undeath. So these ones are undead. The Death Warden as well. Then you've got the different types of demons, which is the kind of coming from the Dark Souls influence. Here's another one of the 4 legendary guardians, Dragon of the Mists and Eagle of the Glacier. The pages that are blank at the moment, that's what I'm waiting on art for. So as I flip through, you'll see there's gray rectangles here, and that's what I'm waiting on additional art. When the art's available, I'll put it into the PDF and update that, and obviously that'll be in the final print hardcover version. So Hitchhiker, this is one that I've converted from We Deal in Lead, actually. I thought it fit. There aren't a lot that I converted over from We Deal in Lead because I wanted to keep them separate enough. But this one I think fits because it's a kind of demonic spirit. And then the Hidden Folk, or Huldra, which is a figure from Scandinavian mythology. Yeah, here we go with the Jotuns. I've kind of followed the thinking that Jotuns weren't really giants, even though they're called giants. They're not necessarily large, although some Jotuns are large, but they were more of a faction that was in opposition to the gods, the Aesir and the Vanir gods of Norse mythology. So kind of like demons, but not really. Just kind of an opposing faction. So they're called anti-gods, or have been referred to as anti-gods. So that's why I've kind of separated them out. They're their own thing. So not necessarily giants, although some Jotuns are gigantic, if that makes sense. Here's another of the 4 guardians of Icelandic folklore. Here's another Felipe image. So Mirth. So this is my updated version of a Heimingja in Scandinavian mythology, almost like a corrupted spirit. It's another Felipe piece. We've got ogre. So again, troll is kind of a catch-all term in Norse mythology. So I don't have troll as a separate monster type because I class the kind of standard trolls under humanoid, but there are some like monstrous trolls, like an ogre, for instance. So I put this into the horror category, just like a corrupted troll, essentially. There's going to be 5 new images here from Felipe. He's working on those right now for the different ooze types. So these ones are inspired by Dark Souls creatures, especially this one, the Shield Ooze. Where possible, I've included some full color painted images from Kim Diaz Holm, like this Reaver here. I think it's pretty cool. We got a seal head. That's another image that I'm waiting on. That's going to be really good when it comes in. There's some unique creatures too, like the 4 guardian spirits, but there's also more unique creatures. Basically means that there's only one that exists in the world, and if you kill that, then that's it. Like the Sirik, the Hafgufa creature from legendary Norse mythology. And then we've got the seers. So these are corrupted seers. These are basically my version of witches or hags. So the Grim Seer or the Swamp Seer. Very, very, very dangerous. This is basically a page of undead, except for the shambling mound. So faded shade. If a shade kind of fades away enough, then they'll get even more corrupted, and then they'll become ethereal and incorporeal and become more dangerous. Got the classic bone wheel skeletons and giant skeletons. These were in the original Runecairn rules. So I've included all of the 10 original monsters and then 100 new ones. So there's about 110 in total. So some of the art. I'm glad it matches up really well. So like this is a Kim Diaz Holm one for the corpse spider. So I think it fits pretty nicely. Got some Dean Spencer art here too. He does really nice, a variety of different styles of stock art on Drive-Thru-RPG. Another Felipe piece. This one I've wanted to use, this image I've wanted to use for a while. I almost use this as the back cover image too. I think it's really cool, very evocative. Like bright colors. Yeah, I really like it. So that's my version of a vampire. Similar to the Drifted Vampire from We Deal in Lead. This is kind of a proto version of that. So if you imagine this vampire existing for 10,000 years and kind of just feeding and growing stronger, then that would turn into the Drifted Vampire. You got the Lingbacker, which is another legendary creature from Norse mythology. So this one, I can't wait to see this one, what this one looks like. So gargantuan whale covered in lush and beautiful algae in vivid colors of purples, reds, blues, and yellows, appearing like a great island covered in heather floating on the sea. Yeah, I can't wait to see this one. And then this is the last of the monsters. That's Wolverine, so I think that's pretty cool. Right, then we've got the appendix. So this is guides on creating monsters and converting monsters. So I couldn't resist including a Perplexing Ruins piece, Blood Elk. So I know that a blood elk, there's a blood elk in Cairn. I almost used that. I almost converted that over, but I think I did convert it as a Thorned Elk, but this is the original. And then kind of guidance on how to create your own monsters. Then the index, which I've thrown together recently, and have the OG bonfire illustration that I made for the first Runecairn book. And then the final back cover. So this is Brandon's piece that I've used earlier on, but also as the back cover. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that brief flip through of the Runecairn Bestiary. Itch funding is ongoing until the end of May at the earliest. So I'm 95% to the final goal. If it hits a final goal, then I'll add additional goals onto it. But it will absolutely hit a hardcover print run. You can back for the hardcover for £25. Shipping will be charged later on, and I've got the costs for shipping on the itch page, where you can get the PDF. Back to PDF now, you'll get this PDF as it is right now, and then you'll get the final version when it's released, and any subsequent updates. I'm planning on doing an upgrade too, so if you back for the PDF and you want to upgrade to the hardcover later on, then that'll be possible. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, so check out the itch funding page and back if this looks really cool to you. You can use these monsters for Runecairn. You can use them in Cairn and other Into the Odd games with minor tweaks. Very minor tweaks. Thanks, and see you later.